Kuro were suffering a little bit of criticism earlier, not because they really did anything wrong, not because anything was happening with Wuthering Waves, but more specifically concerning the threshold, the 30 million download threshold that they had crossed, and the rewards that they were going to give players after achieving such a monolithic milestone. This is research. I was just like, I know you're looking at this and you're thinking to yourself, Stix, what on earth have you been reading? Why is the male rover there with Jinso? Why is Jinso going, Jue certainly didn't prophesize this? Wuthering Waves has reached 30 million downloads worldwide. I just want to take a moment here to give them a round of applause because this is an incredible achievement. If you recall, people were saying the 34 million pre-registered players, they're all bots. There's no way that they are real human beings. And within, what, like 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, here we go. We crossed the 30 million download threshold. So evidently, quite a few of those 34 million were in fact real people. And while I'm sure they're no doubt giving themselves self-congratulatory backpats, I want to instead discuss Wuthering Waves reaches 30 million downloads worldwide and chose to give 10 polls to 10 winners for a collective achievement. They have given dozens of free 10 polls, thousands of premium currency. They've given us free 5-star selectors. They've done every single thing that is within their ability to constantly appease players. They've given us repeated compensation for the blunders that they've encountered. And while I look at this and I'm like, you know what? They don't need to give us anything because they've given us so much already. I do understand that people want free polls. I understand that it's difficult to obtain enough currency to continue to actually pull for characters in game. I think that's something they definitely need to touch on and they definitely need to improve because we're going to reach a point where there's just no real way for us to obtain polls as a free-to-play player, or at least enough polls to actually obtain the limited characters when they release. Kuro have prided themselves on how free-to-play friendly they are, on how much they reward players for actually playing their game. So this right here is an interesting way of actually giving back to players. They decided they were going to give 10 polls to just 10 winners only. This sparked an outrage on social media, specifically China. China's reaction towards Wuthering Waves' 30 million download 10 Lustrous Tide giveaway and subsequent correction. The overwhelming majority of players were very critical of this, saying that it wasn't nearly enough, saying that even Genshin gave 10 polls for their 10 million download achievement, if I recall. Shortly after seeing this, and when I say shortly, I mean very shortly after seeing the reception from players, it seems as though Kuro made the correction here and decided, in their words, "We sincerely apologize for the poor experience brought to everyone by the inconsiderate social media activities. The project team decided to send 10 polls along with 10 crystal solvents to all rovers in the server through in-game email today." I received this. I'm sure you've received this if you haven't received this, and I strongly urge you to go ahead, log into the game now and get your 10 poll. Thank you again to all rovers for your attention and support of Wuthering Waves. Now, see, I think this is great. I think it's good that they listen to the feedback. They are always listening to the feedback. But at the same time, and this is where things get a little bit tricky, a thread was opened over on the Gacha Gaming subreddit. And I know, our Gacha Gaming, doom posting negatively about Wuthering Waves. Whoa, what a shocking revelation. That's the first time we've heard of that. The thread was actually removed. But I actually saw this thread earlier when I was taking the biggest shit of my life. I opened up my Reddit app and this thread right here appeared. Kuro Games bad. Wuthering Waves bad. Genshin could never. Unfortunately, there's no way for me to show the content of this Reddit thread, but they used a Genshin image, and then they had this enormous paragraph, this tinfoil hat conspiracy theory about how Kuro actually had this entire thing, the entire event and everything that transpired was premeditated. They had planned to, for whatever reason, announce this 10-person giveaway. And they already had the rewards planned to give to everyone. But before they did this, to garner additional goodwill within the community, they decided, you know what? Let's roll out a subpar reward. And then when enough people complain, we will give them the real rewards that we were going to give them anyway. And then players will think to themselves, oh my god, wow, they really do listen. Every time we have any kind of constructive criticism or feedback for their game, they take it under advisement and then they remedy the situation. They give us free 10 pulls. They give us free premium currency, free crystal solvents. They give us guaranteed 5-star characters. Again, this is not what I think. Before anyone takes this out of context, this is what the content of the Reddit thread was saying. And I was reading this and I'm like, holy fuck, these people have literally single-digit IQs. Imagine thinking what Kuro want to do is actually have more negative press for their game. Yeah, sure, they're giving us compensatory 10 pulls, but at the same time, at the expense of what? At the expense of having whoever is in charge of their social media look like fucking idiots. So I understand that they thought they were doing something cool. They really did. And, you know, kudos for trying to do something like that. I appreciate that they decided to give the 10 pulls to everyone anyway, along with the addition of 5 crystal solvent, because that means, you know, we can farm more Echo XP items from the Tassa fields. I personally do not believe that this was premeditated. I do not believe that they sat there and thought to themselves and then decided to go ahead with potentially doing additional damage to the reputation of not only their studio, Kuro Games, but also the game. Because this could have gone over much worse. Some Chinese players were upset with it. They immediately remedied the situation. Now everyone's happy. Kuro listened. But it could have gone over so much worse. So are they willing to potentially win some goodwill within the community at the expense of tarnishing more of their reputation? I don't think so. I don't think that's a good idea. I think whatever this guy is smoking, he needs to throw out because it's making him fucking stupid. Now, I appreciate that they removed the Reddit thread. This was actually removed within 30 minutes, which was very impressive. But the things that some of these haters, these blatant idiots, think up. The narrative that they create in their heads to justify their unadulterated hatred for this game, it baffles me. I don't understand where all of this negativity comes from. Nothing bad can come from Wuthering Waves doing good. It just means that Genshin will have to do better if it wants to remain on top. It means future open world anime gacha games are gonna have to do better to compete with not only the generosity that Kuro have continued to exhibit, but also the quality of the game that they have pushed out. Now, I appreciate the compensation we got. I didn't even know this was even a thing until later in the day, and I really have absolutely no issue with it. At the end of the day, they're gonna push out whatever events they want to. I'm going to enjoy whatever rewards I can. I never feel entitled to free pulls. I just enjoy everything I can about the games that I'm playing. But that's me. Now, if none of this is of any interest to you, absolutely no problem. I got you covered with 2 different dedicated videos on screen right now that might be more up your alley.